What's up, everybody? I hope y'all having a good day. And if you're not having a good day so far, stop what you're doing. Take a deep breath. Breathe out the bad stuff. From here on out, you go Sanders 2-1 Liz Cheney. So for those of you who do not know, Liz Cheney is Dick Cheney's daughter. Somehow, some way. She's the damn representative of, but I genuinely feel bad that they thought it was a good idea to put the architect of the Iraq, Bernie Sanders decided to, Bernie doesn't really like, nuclear weapons. Apparently he means that in every way. He says, Representative Liz Cheney, daughter of Dick Cheney. Really? I wasn't aware that it was socialism that lied about. I called 911 after I read that tweet. Liz Cheney is still not to drink the dairy around here, but almond milk cartons. This tweet is epic for so many reasons because let's be honest, people, I'm not attacking it or critiquing it in a legitimate way, because I'm sure that there are some legitimate critiques of democratic socialism, for example, because it still upholds and uplifts socialism versus capitalism versus democratic socialism. That's a different discussion. But this is Liz Cheney, people, and we know the pure fuckery that the neoconservative establishment is trying to push. Because in my opinion, this is showing that that is what this tweet is. Understand, they are trying to set up the war in Venezuela based off of this idea that socialism is inherently evil and capitalism. These are the facts. But what this tweet shows me is that Bernie is getting a little irritated with these attempts to manufacture consent under the guise of protect. It's so important to me and for you. It's one thing to say you're anti-war. It's one thing to say that you don't want to. I mean, obviously, I don't think Bernie Sanders is a pacifist per se. I think that he is anti-war, but that doesn't mean you're a pacifist. For example, when I was living my life once upon a time in the hood, in Fayetteville, North Carolina, off Strickland Bridge Road and 26. If you're from there, then you know. But don't get that twisted with being a pacifist, because if it came down to it and I had to defend my family, I had to defend my friends, then at that point, I went all the sense. Right? Bernie Sanders is firmly against war. However, in the event that we have another Holocaust type of incident, I'm sure Bernie Sanders would also be in line with having all of the smoke as well. For those of you who don't know what that means, go to Urban Dictionary. So none of us, at least most of us, some people are firmly anti-war and are pacifists 100%. I am about defending our nation. I am about defending the rights of people. I'm about standing up for human rights. That's why if I am firmly in the camp of Palestinians defending themselves against Israelis, and they don't really do that most of the time because they know it only sparks more violence for them. They are unable to defend themselves to the degree that Israel is able to defend itself because Israel is spending our money to do so. But I am firmly in the camp of them being able to defend themselves. I'm firmly in the camp of Assad defending itself from rebels that we give weapons to. I'm firmly in the camp of Maduro defending himself and his government and his people against the rebels that we are empowering to try and establish a military coup in Venezuela. I am for all of that. That doesn't mean that I am pro-war. It just means that I'm anti-war unless it is absolutely called for you to stand up for the people who need you the most. And that is where I would like to see Bernie at, and to be there completely, not have your foot halfway in the water and halfway out the water. It requires you to understand any attempt to manufacture consent, because when they've been attacking Bernie on socialism, Part of it is to establish disingenuous dialogue and really obtuse discourse about the realities of socialism versus capitalism. It's not, they're not really trying to, it's a BS economics argument that they're trying to use to try and distort Bernie Sanders' message. I get that. But the other reason that they continue to hound on socialism is because it's a trick out of the old playbook. In order to invade Vietnam, socialism. In order to invade Korea, socialism. In order to invade Afghanistan the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, except for the most recent time, socialism. The reason that we're pushing for Venezuela to be overthrown now, at least in some of the papers, in some of the politicians' mind, because Putin is now helping Venezuela, therefore we really have to get on the ball because socialism. The reason we overthrew Mossadegh in 1953 in Iran, socialism. The reason that we want to invade Syria, nationalize the oil supply, secularize the government, socialism. The reason we invade Grenada and overthrew Maurice Bishop, socialism. The reason we fought against Nelson Mandela in South Africa, socialism. The reason we fought against Fidel Castro when he was trying to desegregate Cuba, socialism. Manufacture consent, and they use the same playbook over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. So if we're going to 100% unequivocally shut down any attempt to manufacture consent, we have to know how they do it. And we have to attack the root rather than the conclusion. I don't know if Bernie is getting this 100%, but this is one of the steps that I have seen him take in positively in that direction, which is interesting because with the whole war in Venezuela, or the attempted coup attempt in Venezuela, we haven't seen Bernie speak a lot about that. And now I want to be understanding about this because there is some truth to the idea that he just doesn't understand foreign policy as well as he would like to, because he's so focused on domestic economic policy. Now, that's okay because he admits it. And to be honest with you, a lot of us, that's all we've ever wanted, is for him to just admit it so that we can then move forward in a better understanding of how to critique him as an ally. Okay, like, look, man, you can't get this wrong here. This is what you have to understand about this issue. This is what you have to understand about what your words mean here or your silence means here. If you understand one simple fact that we've never entered into a war for humanitarian reasons, then you can unequivocally condemn any single and every single attempt to go to war and have no fear that you are anything but 100% right. You don't have to know all the intricate details. You can defer to someone like Tulsi Gabbard in that regard. You can defer to somebody like Ilhan Omar in that regard. But you can unequivocally oppose every attempt at regime change and every lie to distort whatever issue is going on in a particular country, if you understand the simple fact that we've never fought in a humanitarian war. And by the way, that includes World War II. That includes World War II. We had Nazi subsidiaries, GM, GE, et cetera, Ford. We had Nazi subsidiaries. A lot of the reason that we didn't get in initially was because we didn't want to, the corporations weren't allowing us to, basically. They were like, I mean, hey, let us get our money first, and then y'all can do what you got to do. But even then, we still never fought Germany first. We were busy protecting Africa and Great Britain's colonies from the Axis power. So like that just lets you know, even with the Holocaust going on, we still were not fighting wars for humanitarian reasons. Understanding this will allow Bernie to continue to make the steps forward, or the positive steps forward, in ensuring that he doesn't accidentally step into the trap of manufacturing consent for regime change wars. And if this is the Bernie that we're going to see for the rest of the election, then I more than welcome it. For whatever reason, we've talked about it a little bit on the show before, I prefer the Senator Sanders Twitter account much more than I prefer that Bernie Sanders Twitter account. Because whoever's running that, I don't know why, but it feels like they may not necessarily be on the same team as us. Love to know what your thoughts are about this. Like the video, share the video, leave a comment below, subscribe, make sure you're still subscribed. And hey, people, remember, more than anything else, find your balance. Peace. Thanks for watching that segment of Mi Casa es Su Casa. Make sure you follow us on Twitter, on Facebook, on Roku TV, and on justinform.com. Also, you can make sure that you're subscribed to the channel by going to the subscribe button, pressing it, and hitting that notification bell to get all of our notifications. And of course, you can help us reach our goal of 500 patrons on Patreon by supporting the show by donating as little as $1. You can click on the link in the description below for that. And remember, more than anything else, find your balance. Peace.